August 2, 2006, a sweltering summer night in Washington, D.C. The air hung heavy with humidity. Inside a stately townhouse on Swan Street, a nightmare unfolded. Robert Wone, a promising young lawyer, lay dead. He was just 32 years old. Robert was a guest at the home of his friend, Joe Price. They had been college classmates. Now, years later, their lives were intertwined in a deadly mystery. Robert had been stabbed, not once, but 3 times. The precision of the wounds was chilling. It was a clean kill. Adding to the enigma was the pristine condition of the crime scene. There was a disturbing lack of blood, no signs of a struggle. Robert hadn't even tried to defend himself. It was as if he had never seen it coming. The scene was almost too perfect, too staged. It whispered of a carefully orchestrated act. But who would want Robert Wone dead, and why? The answers, it seemed, lay hidden in the shadows of that house on Swan Street. Joe Price, the owner of the house, was a successful lawyer himself. He lived with his romantic partners, Victor Zaborsky and Dylan Ward. The 3 men seemed to live a charmed life. But on that fateful night, their world was about to unravel. When the police arrived, they found Price, Zaborsky, and Ward already downstairs. The men were strangely calm, almost detached considering the circumstances. They were all dressed in bathrobes, as if they had just showered. Something didn't feel right. Victor Zaborsky was the one who made the 911 call. His voice was flat, devoid of emotion as he reported the stabbing. He claimed that an intruder had broken in and attacked Robert. But the police were skeptical. The story just didn't add up. The back gate was found unlocked, but there were no signs of forced entry. Why would an intruder target Robert's room specifically? And how could they escape without leaving a trace? The more the police investigated, the more suspicious the 3 house guests became. As the investigation deepened, a disturbing picture began to emerge. The evidence pointed to something more sinister than a random act of violence. There were hints of a possible sexual assault. Robert's body showed signs of restraint, and there were traces of fluids found at the scene. Adding to the mystery was a collection of BDSM items discovered in the house. Could this be a sex game gone wrong? The police explored every angle, but the truth remained elusive. The residents' stories were inconsistent. Their timelines didn't match up. They seemed to be hiding something. The murder weapon, a knife, was never found. A knife was recovered from the scene, but it was deemed too large to have inflicted Robert's wounds. The missing knife, believed to be part of a set belonging to Dylan Ward, became a focal point of the investigation. Had it been cleaned or disposed of? The police were convinced that Price, Zaborsky, and Ward knew more than they were letting on. They had tampered with evidence, cleaned the crime scene, and concocted a story to cover their tracks. But proving it was another matter entirely. The trial. The case against the 3 house guests was largely circumstantial. There was no smoking gun, no eyewitness, no confession. The prosecution argued that the men's behavior after the murder, their inconsistent stories, and their attempts to mislead the investigation were proof of their guilt. The defense, however, maintained that the police had rushed to judgment, focusing on the residents instead of pursuing other leads. They pointed to the lack of DNA evidence linking their clients to the crime. They argued that the intruder theory was still plausible. The trial was a media sensation, captivating the nation with its lurid details and shocking accusations. In the end, after weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Price, Zaborsky, and Ward were acquitted of all charges related to Robert Wone's murder. The courtroom erupted in gasps of disbelief. Robert Wone's family was devastated. Justice, it seemed, had not been served. The 3 men were free to go, but the cloud of suspicion would follow them forever. More than a decade has passed since that fateful night on Swan Street. The case of Robert Wone's murder remains unsolved. The truth, it seems, is locked away in the memories of the 3 men who were there that night. What really happened in that house? Why was Robert Wone targeted? Did the police overlook crucial evidence? Or did Joe Price, Victor Zaborski, and Dylan Ward get away with murder? These questions continue to haunt us. The mystery of Robert Wone's death is a chilling reminder that some secrets never stay buried. It is a story of friendship betrayed, of justice denied, and of a truth that may never be fully known. And so, the question remains, who killed Robert Wone? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video.